Hey guys, it's Tresa. I am making an apple crisp and went apple picking last week and got some beautiful apples. I have most of them already chopped and peeled, but I thought I would just do this last one while I tell you all about it. Apple crisp has been a family favorite since my kids were little, and I love it because it's a faster, easier way, to make the whole pie. I love a good apple pie, don't get me wrong, but you have to make the pie crust and just throw it together in a very short time. And it is quite delicious, and it has less flour in it too. So that's another reason why. And you could always use it different. Like you could use just oats if you like oats in it. The one I'm making tonight does not have oats in it. But you could use oats and flour. I'm going to do flour. My topping is going to be flour and brown sugar and butter and cinnamon, pretty much. And I'm going to show you all that. So I have a pan here that is not quite 13 by 9, but it's a little deeper. I like it because it's nice and deep for this. And I'm slicing my apples pretty thin. They'll cook faster. They stay nice and moist. So I've got all these scraps. Now, there's a couple things you can do with them. You could cook these down and make like a apple with some sugar and make like an apple simple syrup almost. You can also make an apple cider vinegar with these. If you have animals, I have like chickens or whatever, you can give them to the chickens. I have a pear cider vinegar going, so I'm probably not going to use them for that. But you could also throw them in the freezer and use them at a later time to make the vinegar or whatever. So your vegetable scraps are good for lots of things. And in this time where we're talking a lot about preparing, we're in October 2024, things are crazy. Lots of things happening. There's another hurricane headed towards Florida. There's a lot going on. And we're talking about preparing. We don't know what's going to happen over the course of the next few months. So I've been talking a lot about that. And so making some vinegar is very inexpensive and super easy to do. It just has to sit for about 6 weeks. And you just got to remember to stir it every day or every couple days. But other than that, it's pretty simple. It's just the scraps and water and a little bit of sugar. And then you want to have, if you have some apple cider vinegar that has the mother in it, you just threw a couple tablespoons of that in just to continue with that. And you're good to go. So, all right. So here is my apples. Now this is really full, and I am going to attempt to kind of stir it up, but I'm just going to throw not a lot because you don't need much, but I'm going to put a couple tablespoons, maybe a little bit more because there's a lot of apples in here, on the apples, and that's going to help to make them nice and juicy. They're sweet apples, so they don't need a lot of sugar, and I'm going to put a little cinnamon too, and then I'll put some more in the topping and just stir this up. It's just going to give it really good flavor. So I'm just going to stir that up a little bit. And also I use different varieties of apples. I have like a Honey Crisp and some Macintosh and Portland, a couple different ones. So I'm not even sure exactly what they were. I just pulled some out of the fridge that I had washed. And so when I wash the apples, even if I get them locally, I know apples are hard to get that are purely organic and not treated with anything. So I soak them with some On Guard cleaning concentrate and some lemon essential oil and in water for a little while. And then I take more On Guard cleaning concentrate in a spray bottle and my Norwex scrubber, and I scrub them up. Okay, so my apples are ready. I'm going to make them topping now, which is super simple. So I have already in this bowl, I have some butter, and I'm actually going to cut the butter before I do this into smaller pieces. It's probably about half a stick, maybe a little more. I didn't actually measure, I just cut a piece off the block. And cutting it into smaller pieces will make it a little bit easier as you are pulling this together. This is about 1/3 cup of flour, and I'm going to do brown sugar. And the thing about this is you don't have to measure exactly because it's a crisp, right? It's not like it has to be perfect. It's not like making a cake. All right, so that's the brown sugar's in, and a little cinnamon. And I'm not even gonna measure, I'm just gonna sprinkle some cinnamon in. And now the magic happens with this trusty little, to be honest with you, I'm not even sure I know what it's called, but it was somebody's in my family that passed it down to me. And I've had it for a very, very long time. I think since I first got married, maybe. So like 30, I don't know, 35, 40 years I had this thing. And you just kind of rock it back and forth. And what it does is it crumbles everything up. Once in a while, you're gonna have to kind of give it a little scrape because it does get stuck in there a little bit. You could use a fork if you don't have one of these. It's actually a pastry cutter is what it's called. And you can use it if you're making like pastry dough. It works great for that too. Pie crust if you're doing it by hand to start, and then you mix it with your hands. But it's great for this because it cuts the butter in, makes it nice and crumbly. And like I said, an apple crisp is so easy to make. I feel like it needs a little more cinnamon, and we're gonna be good to go. You can make the, cut the butter in and make the topping as crumbly as you want it to be. I like to leave a little bit of, the butter's gonna melt anyways, so I like to leave the pieces a little bit. I'll show you. And I'm just gonna pour it on top. Super, super easy to do. It's a little bigger, it's okay. And it doesn't matter if it's not perfect, it's just a crisp. So if you can see that, it's nice and crumbly. Let me move this back so you can see it. And now I'm just going to pour it over top of the apples. It's so simple. You just want to kind of spread it evenly so there's a little bit on all your apples. And there you have it. Super easy. I'm going to pop it in the oven and I'll come back and show you when it's done. Apple crisp baking in the oven. The apple crisp is done. I want to show you how delicious it looks. The apples are soft and the top is nice and browned. See that? I wish you could smell it because it smells so delicious. So it's all bubbly. I'm going to show you again. I don't know if you can see it, the apples. It's like bubbling. And it looks really good. Smells delicious. Great with ice cream if you have some ice cream. I also like to take leftover apple crisp and put it on top of pancakes in the morning or have it with my eggs for breakfast. So that's so simple. I will share the recipe with you. Not much to it, but super, super simple. And I hope wherever you are, you're having a great day and a lovely start to the fall season. It is October here in New Hampshire. It's chilly. The nights are getting really chilly. The leaves are changing. It's beautiful. And it's actually getting towards the end of apple season. We got a whole bunch of apples last week. I know there's only probably another few weeks left. A lot of the ones that they said, like Honey Crisp, that usually come in later, were just bursting. So Not too much left to apple season, but lots of other things you can do with apples. I was talking earlier with you about preparing, and one of the things that I will do with some of the apples that I still have is I will slice them up and I will make like an apple pie filling, and I will can that. And that way, if you want to make a crisp or an apple pie, it's all ready to go. You can even eat them out of the jar like that, but it's a great thing to have prepared in these crazy times. I'm trying to do a bunch of canning. I did some canning last week and some more this week, and I've got some more plans to do a bunch of canning because I think it's a great way to stay prepared. Food is shelf stable, and you don't have to worry about keeping it frozen or worry if you lose power, and you can grab it. I've been doing it in pint-sized jars, the small ones. So it's great because you can grab it if you have to go. And if you have extra, it's a great thing to share as gifts if you're invited to someone's house over the holidays, or even for holiday gifts. People love homemade, like canned applesauce or jams or jellies or relishes or all that kind of stuff. So great for gifts, but super important for preparing. We are in crazy times, and I have a checklist for you that has the basics of getting started to prepare your heart and your home. And beyond that, if you want to learn more, I have a whole toolkit that is loaded with recipes and tips and all sorts of information on everything you need to be prepared in these crazy times. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Check the link below for all the info on that. And God bless. I'll see you soon.